Meanwhile, South Africa is poised for a significant rise in carbon taxes, projected to exceed 140% by 2030. Some sectors may experience tax hikes of up to 340% as allowances are phased out, potentially driving up electricity prices and affecting exports. Now, Deputy Minister of Electricity and Energy, Samantha Graham-Maree, emphasized that investing in renewable energy could mitigate these impacts, fostering job creation and enhancing economic competitiveness. Moreover, by 2034, companies could see electricity costs soar by 60%, with carbon taxes rates climbing from 190 Rand to 462 Rand per tonne. Energy expert Matthew Cruz provides further insights on this issue.
South African businesses can expect to be paying more in taxes due to their carbon emissions going forward. There is currently a carbon tax that is implemented in South Africa, which is costing a business 190 Rand per CO2 or per ton of CO2 that's emitted due to on-site emissions. These are called scope 1 emissions, where there is fuel that is combusted on the premises or from the vehicles that are used by the business. And this is then measured in terms of the total carbon emissions that are emitted into the atmosphere as a result of the industrial processes or the fuels that are burned at the site. So what this looks like is for every ton of CO2 that's emitted, there is a cost that's being charged by the government of a carbon tax of 190 Rand per CO2, ton of CO2. This will increase to 308 Rand by 2026, where there's an additional scope of emissions that are included, which is your electricity use as a business. So what does this mean? At the moment, there's not a measure of your electricity use impacting your carbon emissions, but from 2026 onwards, the scope 2 emissions will be included, which is then the electricity that you get from Eskom, which is unfortunately quite dirty, as Eskom has 80% of their electricity coming from coal power. What this means, though, is that as a business, your electricity use will contribute towards your carbon tax, as your cost then of electricity will also increase in terms of it'll be roughly an extra 30 cents per kilowatt hour that you're paying as a tax, not to Eskom but to the government for the electricity that you're using from Eskom. So apart from this, the Deputy Minister of Electricity and Energy, Samantha Graham-Maree, has also said that there is the carbon border adjustment mechanism coming into place from Europe's side, which will also impact businesses in South Africa that are exporting products to Europe. Their costs are a lot higher than our costs in terms of the tax that they're implementing, where it currently stands that they would charge a business 1,600 Rand per ton of CO2 that is involved in the production of the product that is being exported to Europe. So what this all means is that companies in South Africa will be experiencing more and more taxes and expenses by having high carbon emissions. The number one way that they can get rid of these carbon emissions is by getting solar for their business, either on their roof or on their premises, or by getting power wheeled to them over the grid from solar farms and wind farms in South Africa. This is highly recommended, as the costs will just continue to increase at roughly a 14% average year on year on the carbon tax emissions in South Africa.